Hello, this is Sean, and today we are going to be talking about Clayton Kershaw. If you've been a baseball fan for the last decade plus, you know he is one of the best pitchers of this generation. His career stats speak for themselves, but if you have been a fan that long, you might know Clayton Kershaw a little bit more for his postseason performances, or more so, his lack of success in his postseason performances. He has so many stinkers that he has the reputation as one of the worst playoff chokers of all time. These are games that the Dodgers should have won if it wasn't for Clayton completely crumbling on the mound out there. So come with me on this journey today as I show you something Clayton Kershaw fears more than nuns. That is, taking the mound in October. This is Sean, and these are my top 5 worst playoff chokes from Clayton Kershaw. At number 5, I have Clayton's Game 5 performance in the 2017 World Series. Let me set the stage. The Dodgers have finally made it to the World Series for the first time in Clayton Kershaw's career. It's Game 5. Both teams are tied in the series, 2-2. They're giving Kershaw the ball with a chance to go up 3-2, a huge advantage in this series. And after the first 3 innings, he's cruising. He has 3 straight 1-2-3 innings. Things are looking good for Clayton. And then came the 4th inning, where he gave up 4 runs. But he came back out for the 5th and walked the 2 first batters and got pulled. And Kenta Maeda came in and instantly gave up a home run to Jose Altuve. And since 2 of those runs were credited to Clayton, he ended up having 6 earned runs, putting his final line for this pivotal Game 5 at 4.2 innings with 4 hits given up, 3 walks, and 6 runs. Now, I know this is not his worst playoff performance by any measure, but a common theme you'll soon see is when it's a big game for the Dodgers, he can't pitch well. And every one of those runs counted in this game. It went to extra innings, and the Astros would win by a score of 13-12. And as we know, they would eventually go on to win the entire World Series that year. So this is definitely a World Series start Kershaw would like to have back. And that's only number 5. At number 4, I have Game 1 of the 2009 NLCS, and his first Game 1 start in a series ever. And the meltdown he had in this game was incredible foreshadowing for what was to come in his career. So, heading in to the top of the 5th inning with a 1-0 lead in Game 1, here's what Kershaw did. Gave up a single to Raul Ibanez, threw a wild pitch, walked Pedro Feliz, gave up a 3-run homer to Carlos Ruiz, walked the pitcher, Cole Hamels, got Jimmy Rollins to ground out, struck out Shane Victorino, but not before throwing another wild pitch. Threw his 3rd wild pitch of the inning to Chase Utley before eventually walking him. And his last batter of the day was Ryan Howard, who he gave a 2-run double up to. So that's 5 runs on 3 hits for Kershaw. And this was actually a choke I didn't know about before researching this video. I didn't start watching regularly till 2010, so it was a pleasant surprise to see that he's been doing this for a while. And those 5 runs were really important because LA lost this game 8-6. And they only ended up winning Game 2 of this series and lost the whole thing in 5 games. So Clayton did not start this series off hot. Wonder if this one stuck with him for the rest of his career. On to number 3. And at this spot, I have Game 1 of the 2014 NLDS. Dodgers versus Cardinals, and Kershaw is cruising through this game with a 2-6 lead. It's the top of the 7th inning. You know, he has a little over 80 pitches. He's looking to finish the 7th inning strong. Maybe he'll even come back out for the 8th. It's looking like an easy Dodger win to start this series off right, something he could not do in 2009. Well, here's what actually happened. He gave up a single to Matt Holliday, a single to Johnny Peralta, a single to Yadier Molina, a bases-loaded single to Matt Adams, a single to John Jay, and a double to Matt Carpenter. By the time Kershaw's taken out of this game, the Cardinals are now winning 7-6. And Matt Holliday hit a 3-run homer to make it even worse. One of those runs was Kershaw's. He was taken out with 110 pitches, and the Cardinals ended up finishing the comeback and winning that game 10-9. And I will say, Kershaw did come back better in Game 4, only giving up 3 earned runs in 6 innings, but one of his most infamous playoff moments happened in that Game 4, with him hunched over on the mound after giving up a home run to Matt Adams. That game ending with a final score of 3-2, eliminating the Dodgers from playoff contention. So this not only makes Kershaw responsible for the horrible tone that this series got off to, but also the final game that kicked the Dodgers out as well. And this was around the time that choker reputation for Kershaw was starting to cement, because this was now 3 separate incidents: 2009, 2013, which we will get to, and now 2014. So yeah, being the final nail in your team's coffin to get kicked out of the playoffs, that'll get you at the number 3 choker spot.
A brilliant pitching jam by Tim Lincecum, and the Giants take a 1-0 lead.
Okay, no reason at all for that, but here we are back. It may be a day after, but we are here. Buckle up, because Dodger fans, I think you know which 2 are next. If you are a Dodger fan and you're still watching, I don't know how. This is definitely me being a hater in this video, so let me know in the comments below if you made it this far. I'll let you call me whatever you want. But we are here to talk about his second worst choke of all time, Game 6 of the 2013 NLCS. Let me set the stage for you. Kershaw had just come off his second Cy Young season in 2013, and his first 3 starts in these playoffs were actually very good. So Game 6, the Dodgers season on the line. They're down 3-2 in the series to the Cardinals. They give him the ball. They're thinking 2009 was a fluke against the Phillies. This is the biggest game he's started since then. And what did he do? Nothing good. He gave up 10 hits and 7 earned runs in only 4 innings of work. The Dodgers had a 45% chance to win this game in the middle of the 3rd inning. And by the time Kershaw was taken out, it was 11%. The Dodgers had absolutely no chance to stave off elimination. They lost that game 9-0. So call me a hater all you want, but there's definitely something going on here. This guy is a first ballot Hall of Famer who cannot seem to put it together when it matters most. And you might be thinking, how is this one worse than the last one when he blew a 2-6 lead? And I'll tell you my reasoning. I think that one's a little more understandable compared to literally just starting the game dog crap and giving your team no hope to even try to not get eliminated. 7 earned runs, bad. And before I get to number 1, I have 2 honorable mentions, because this guy actually has 7 chokes total in 7 different seasons. Insane. But these ones, for whatever reason, I deemed not as bad. But we still got to talk about them. My first honorable mention is his 2 starts in the 2018 World Series. This is 1 year after they lost to the cheating Astros, and Kershaw got the ball in Game 1 of the World Series, and he only made it 4 innings and gave up 5 earned runs. The Dodgers ended up losing this game by a score of 4-8. That was Game 1. And where have you heard this before? They gave him the ball in the final game of the series, Game 5. He actually went 7 innings this time, but he gave up 4 earned runs, and the Dodgers lost by a score of 5-1. So I don't know if you really consider these chokes, but this is 2 bad performances in the playoffs. Not a quality start either time. In this one, ooh, I wanted it on the list so bad, but I don't know if I could have justified it over those other 5. This is last year, NLDS Game 1. And I don't know if it was just me, but I swear all my friends who watch baseball saw this one coming a mile away. The reputation was already there. He's starting Game 1 against the Diamondbacks. The Dodgers are the overwhelming favorite in the series. Diamondbacks are playing on house money. And this was literally his worst start ever in the playoffs. He gave up 6 hits, walked 1 batter, and gave up 6 runs before being taken out after only recording 1 out. The Dodgers obviously lost this game. They lost the series. They were swept. And how many times have I said this in the video? Kershaw's start got the series off to a horrible note for the Dodgers. And so bad last year, they couldn't even win a game. But you, my friend watching this video, do not have to be a loser like the Dodgers, because I have a game you can win. And that is the game of YouTube. There are 2 simple rules to win. The first is liking this video, and the second is subscribing to me, because I make top 5 videos on anything. I'll rank statues, I'll rank balloons, I'll rank books, whatever you request, I will most likely rank it because I have nothing better to do. So, if you choose to support me, I appreciate it. If not, that's fine too. Without further ado, our number one Clayton Kershaw choke is... Hold on. I may have forgotten. Just kidding. It is 2019 against the Washington Nationals in Game 5 of the NLDS. I will now explain the context of this choke because everything that came around it is important to know when really appreciating how bad it was. The 2019 Nationals in the regular season were okay. They ended up winning 93 games, but they started the first half of the season 47-42 with a measly 53% winning percentage going into the All-Star break. They did finish the season strong, however, with a 63% winning percentage going 46-27, but they were by no means the favorite going into the postseason, with a one-game wild card matchup with the Brewers looming. And that game was going just as everyone expected until the stupidest thing ever happened.
That'll score one. That'll score two as the ball gets away from Grisham and right. That's going to score 3 runs. And the Washington Nationals have the lead. They got Soto hung up. They tag him out, but nobody in this joint cares.
3 runs score on the play. The Nationals are in front.
So the Nationals move on a fluke, and they immediately have a tough task ahead of them as they have to face the 2019 Los Angeles Dodgers, who absolutely dominated their division. Second place was the Diamondbacks, who ended the year 21 games behind the Dodgers. Los Angeles had 106 wins. My point being, the Dodgers were really good, and anything besides a World Series appearance would be seen as a failure. So here we have the NLDS, the juggernaut Dodgers versus the Nationals, who've snuck their way up to this point, and they went back and forth winning games in the series. LA, Washington, LA, Washington, and that's where we're at now. Game 5, winner goes on to the semifinals, and things were looking good early for the Dodgers. Max Muncy hit a 2-run homer, giving the Nationals a 27% chance to win the game in the first inning. Kike Hernandez's home run lowered those odds to 18 in the second inning, and that's where it stayed. Juan Soto singled in Rendon to make the score 3-1, but the Dodgers were looking in the driver's seat going into the 8th inning. They're up 3-1. They're 6 outs away from moving on. The top of the 8th inning, the Washington Nationals had a 14% chance to win the game. And who do we see Dave Roberts warming up in the bullpen? Clayton Kershaw. And I knew the second I saw him warming up, this is not going to end well. We're bringing him in relief. My theory for this is that Roberts really wanted to end this narrative and give Kershaw a big moment, but no, that didn't happen at all. Here's what happened. He comes in with a 3-1 lead. Rendon takes ball 1, and the very next pitch hits it out of the yard. This brings the Nationals' odds to win up all the way to 26. So here we are. The Nationals are now 1 run away from tying the game. And I'll give you a little personal anecdote. I was on vacation in the Los Angeles area visiting Disneyland at this time. So my fiance and my brother, we were in the hot tub watching the game on my phone. Rendon hit that home run, and I looked at them both and I said, if Soto goes deep right now, I'm jumping in that freezing cold pool. And that's the context for this picture. Juan Soto swung at the first pitch he saw and took it over the fence. The Nationals brought their winning percentage from 14 all the way back to 50 with 3 pitches. And those 3 pitches were all Clayton Kershaw threw. Dave Roberts was not going to chance 3 straight home runs for the Nationals to take the lead. And he pulled Kershaw out. He threw a ball, and his other 2 pitches went over the fence. The game would go to extra innings, and former Dodger Howie Kendrick would hit a grand slam to eventually win the game for the Nationals. They would move on all the way to the World Series and win the whole thing in 7 games against the Astros. And that's what makes this choke even worse. Kershaw could have gotten a chance to redeem himself in the World Series against Houston. Instead, he threw possibly the 2 worst pitches of his career. And here's how I'd like to end this video. Is he a Hall of Famer? Without a doubt. One of the greatest pitchers I've ever seen live. But if you don't think there's something mental to all of these collapses he has in the playoffs, I'd like to hear your theory on why it keeps happening, because there's got to be something going on up there. As a Giants fan, I do not wish him luck, and I do not hope he figures it out. And I'm sure all you other baseball fans out there feel the same way. So this postseason, we'll see. Can Kershaw perform well in the playoffs, where there is actually full capacity of fans? We will find out. Until next time, this is Sean, and that was my top 5.